Hello, I'm John Thorne from Thorny Motorsport, and I won't apologise straight away. This video is very specifically about the UK market and the buying of your first or values of McLarens of all models. So to my international viewers, this could be interesting to see how the value works in the UK, but it's really not any use to you looking to buy a car in Florida. Now, UK market is arguably one of the largest in terms of second-hand values and trading in McLarens, and after a year or so of us doing it, we're now the largest retailer of McLaren, pre-owned McLaren vehicles. Now, we only do seller return, which means owned by the owner. We don't buy and sell cars, can't stand that idea, but we do prepare cars for people and sell on behalf of owners. So it gives us a very good idea in terms of looking what to look for in terms of cars, bear in mind our 10 years experience of working on McLarens, but also in the values and where they're going to be, because we sell on behalf of owners. So this video is specifically about talking about values of McLarens, what you can get, what you shouldn't get. We've already done a whole myriad of videos about how to look for the issues that McLarens have. We're going to do some more of those because we are still seeing issues out in cars, out in the market, which I'll cover in a second. But the purpose of this video is if you're looking for a McLaren, unsure what to get, unsure what to spend your money on, idea this video will give you an idea of what to pick for and how much to pay for it. Now, first things first, I'm going to be darting around here in this video, going from car to car. And I'm using this on a 360 camera, so there's no one else here filming me. So the idea is I'm going to go different areas, what you're going to have in terms of looking for, and also look at values. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that McLarens, pre-owned, start at £80,000 in the UK at the moment, and we're now talking about May 2024. Now, there are cars under £80,000 available, and we ourselves have sold a couple of cars under 80,000 in terms of retail value, but they are the rarity. And also there are two specific reasons why you will see any McLaren model at under 80,000 pounds, okay? Excluding the written off, Cat D, all that kind of stuff, etc. Now, the two reasons that they go under 80,000 pounds is one related to the car and one related to the owner. So, for example, we sold 3 cars under 80,000 pounds. We've sold a couple of Sport Series, a 570, a 540, and also a 12C Coupe under 80,000. The reasons for those were primarily because the cars themselves were not very high spec and or had high mileage, or the owner wanted out of the car and needed the money. Okay, so if you're looking at McLaren's advertised for sale at under 80,000 pounds, okay, I can guarantee you there will be a problem with the car that is hidden from you, or it's low spec, high miles, or the owner is a motivated seller, as they say. The car we sold, for example, the guy was in prison. Kind of makes him motivated seller. The other ones we sold was a 44,000 mile Sport Series and a 39,000 mile GT, which was very low spec as well. Okay, so generally speaking, 80,000 should be seen as your base level. Okay, if it's under 80,000 pounds, do not buy it because there will be a reason for it. But if that reason is ascertained and confirmed, it may be a good thing to buy. But we've investigated and inspected a couple of dozen cars at the 60, 70, 80,000 pound mark, and every single one needed multiple thousands of pounds to put right, in some case tens of thousands of pounds. In this video I'm going to show you a pair of 12Cs. By looking at them, they look perfectly identical. One needs 30 grand of work, one needs 1,000. Okay, there's no way of knowing unless you inspect them. If it's under 80 grand, somebody will have seen it, or they're hiding something. Okay, that's the first thing. So, taking that into account, 80,000 pounds is your starting point. So let's take it in ranges from 80 to 90,000 pounds. Okay, that is a good sweet spot for McLaren, the new McLaren to buy. And it will cover everything from a 12C Coupe at about 81, 82,000 pounds, up to 90,000 pounds, which is going to be potentially some lower spec, higher mileage 650Ss. And in between those two amounts, 80, 90,000, you will be able to buy a 12C Coupe, potentially a 12C Spider, a 650 Coupe, a 650 Spider, a 570 Coupe, and a 540 Coupe. Okay, all and a 570 GT. All of those will sit between 80 and 90,000. Okay, so there's your options. Now, early on, 12C Coupes, 82, 83, 84, 85 is something special. Okay, as you go further up the costings, it's going to be a better specification, a more desirable colour, more carbon fibre, lower mileage, better history. Okay, so that's what takes the difference between an £80,000 coupe and a £90,000 12C coupe, is down to the actual car itself. Most people, if not everybody, buys on the specification. You know, we have white cars, for example, and I say white cars are hard to sell, because if you come down here and want to buy a white car, you'll buy it. Okay, but if you come down looking for an orange car or a red car, no matter how cheap the white car is going to be, it's not going to be on your list. So they're very specific sales. So some of the cars we've had to go down price with white cars, and then next day someone come down saying, I want a white McLaren. Okay, so it's quite a difference. So it's 80 and 90,000. So I'm going to show you some examples here. So in this little row here, we have a 570S, which is about 88, 89,000, because it's a nice specification, it's a good interior, it's not very high mileage, so that'll be the top end of the market, 17 plate car. I've got a 540C. This is going to be more nearer to the 82, 83,000 pounds mark, because it's not as high specification, slightly lower in terms of process in terms of the 540 rather than the 570, but still a good car with a red interior, which is either going to make you love it or hate it, so it makes a difference. Then I've got a 12C Spider. Okay, this is in the 90 to 100,000 marks, isn't the wrong spot. But next to it is a 12C Coupe, Volcano range, good spec, but that will be about 83, 84,000. Okay, as I keep going round. It's 570 Spider, that's going to push the next bracket up. And then I've got another 570 a Coupe over there that again will be 84, 85,000. So between this row of 6 cars, you're in the realm of 80 to 90 and a bit over. Now, if I walk round to this side, I've got 2 more 570s, okay? Wonderful spec one. This is near the top end of the market. It's Volcano red, oodles of carbon fibre on it, and low mileage. That would be 88, 89,000. Next to it, I've got I think it's quartz. No, it's one of those purple colours anyway, very rare. Red interior, puts some people off. Very low mileage, in 7,000 miles, but that would be about 85, 86,000 pounds. Then over the next side of it, I've got a GT, very rare colour, very popular, in the 80, 90,000 pounds. So in this range of here, all I've got here, we've got everything from a 90-odd thousand pound coupe Spiders, all the way through the 80,000 pounds out of Sports Series and 12C coupes. So from a 80 to 90,000 pounds mark, you're looking at a lower end of it 12C coupes, upper end of it a higher mileage, lower specification 650 Spider and all coupe. They tend to price themselves. Okay, so that's your range. All the Sports Series, 16, 17 plate cars, and obviously the later the car, the later the model, it drips into the 90,000 pound mark. Speaking of 90,000 pound mark, over here, I've got 3 12C Spiders. Now these drift into the 90 to 100,000 pounds mark. So this one was just been sold for 92,000. We've sold this car twice before at 90 and 94,000. So the prices over the last 3 years are pretty stable. We've got a Volcano red car, needs a bit of work in terms of paint work. So it's 92, 90 at 90,000, give or take. And another one, which is a completely resprayed car at 94, 95,000. So you've got 3 12C Spiders in desirable colours, Volcano red and Volcano yellow, that are the sort of low 90 to 95,000 pound mark. Now that's summer prices, okay? Come winter time, knock off 4 or 5 grand every car here, because the best time to buy a supercar is in winter, best time to sell a car is in summertime. So the guy with the yellow 12C, for example, made 7 grand, okay? Because he bought it in winter and he's selling it in summertime. Okay, but that gives you an idea. So 90 to 100,000 pound mark opens up more cars. Okay, so 90 to 100,000 means you're well in the realms of 650 Spiders. So in terms of with lower mileage, higher specification, and better cars, between 90 and 100,000. 100,000 is the cap for a 650 Spider. We have sold them above 100,000. We just sold one recently for 101. They got to be pretty special. You know, lots of very rare things, low mileage and immaculate in every way. But they do exist, okay? But 100,000 is your top for a 650 at the moment. And obviously with the 12C Spiders hovering between a 90 and 95 mark, you can see where it goes from 80 to 100,000. Right, so that's 80 to 90, 90 to 100, okay? North of 100,000, you're now into slightly different realms. So for a start, you're at the early points of a GT, so the 4-litre GT, not the 5.7 GT. These were 160, 170,000 pounds. They've been a bit of a depreciation nightmare for the new owners, so they're coming in anywhere between 100 and 110, 120,000 depending on the year. Also, newer cars, there'll be 19, 20 plate cars. GT's a great car, heavily overlooked in my opinion, but it is a bit suck it and luck it in terms of the visual looks of it. Some people love it, some people don't. It's got the best engine and arguably some of the best handling side of it, and actually sounds one of the better ones, and it got a bit more room. But because they sold it as an Aston Martin competitor, they screwed the pooch on that. So it has been a bit of an unliked car. Personally, I think it's actually a good car to have. So 100,000 up, you're now looking into the Sports Series Spiders. Okay, so 570 Spider. So we have a 570 Spider over there. I've got two more here somewhere. They're all in between 100 and 120,000, depending how late they are. Normally 100, 110 is where you tend to find 570 Spiders. And again, it's very based on specifics. The very colour. Vega Blue, for example, that will push you towards the 110 mark. A more silver or a black or a grey, or to the more common colours, near the 103, 104,000 pounds mark. Again, the numbers will be dependent really on age, specification, condition of the car. Okay, so 100, 110 puts you in the Sports Series type market in the coupe, in the Spider side, whereas under 100,000 gets you in the coupe. And again, mileage and age resistant, you're in that kind of realm behind it. Okay, 110,000 north, you're really left with the last 2 or 3 models left on terms of the cars. So you're looking at 600 LTs in terms of coupe and Spider. They'll be anywhere between 125 and 140,000. 140,000 being a really nice one, low mileage, lots of carbon, desirable colour, and 125,000 in a Spider, and 125,000 will be a little more miles, etc. Maybe less desirable colour, that sort of level. So 125, 140 gets you the 600 LT in terms of coupe and Spider form. Generally is a £10,000 premium, give or take, between a coupe and a Spider. And then beyond that, you're looking at 720s. Now, 720s is a very interesting market to me, because we went through a period of time where they plummeted, and we saw some cars out in the market, the 115, 120,000. Okay, every one of those cars needed thousands of pounds worth of work. We knew nearly all of them, and every one were complete sheds. Okay, the problem with the 720 is it's much easier to hide what's wrong with it. Okay, it's more of a difficulty trying to find the issues that you've got. We had a 720 Spider here, 720 Coupe, was bought by a customer from a dealer, £129,000, so retail money. It came here for inspection, and we found 20 grand worth of work on it. Okay, when we exposed that to the dealer, he simply said, okay, I'll pay for it. I knew the work it needed doing. This guy sold a car at retail money knowing it needed 20 grand worth of work. Okay, that's outrageous in my opinion, but that's the kind of thing you're gonna have. Fortunately, the owner went, you know what, don't want it, refunded, and he got his money back, which is, we see a lot in terms of inspections we do. But 720 coupes should be around about 125 for something that's got a lot of miles, not a very good condition, not much carbon fibre. They really start at about 130, 135 for a good one. I'm talking about an 18, late 18 plate, nice specification car in good condition, without any problems, etc. About 130, 140. As you go above 140, you're now looking at later models, 20 plate cars, etc. Much lower mileage or more carbon fibre. And then you get into the 720 Spider market, which starts at 150. Now, I've seen them below 150, and the same thing applies. They have issues. So a Spider less than 150, alarm bells, okay? They should be ringing straight away. 165, 170 is where Spiders start, going up to about 180, 185. North of 185, it's going to have to be a brand new car, maybe a year old, and be immaculate, okay? Not seen a Spider through 200,000 for a while, so they can be stabilising. So they have dropped down. I sold my Spider for 215, for example, but I paid 195 for it. That was 2 years ago. So they are stabilising now, where I'm not seeing massive changes in prices. 4 or 5 grand between winter and summer, that's it. And again, obviously with a motivated seller side. North of that, you're then looking at 675 LTs and also 765 LT. So a 675 LT coupe, depending on specification, anyway north of 160, 170,000. You start getting roof scoop models and the really desirable bits that the 675 owners really want. You're now looking more than 180, 190,000 mark in terms of process. And then you're into Spider money as well, which again is anywhere between 180 for a poor spec car or a bad choice, up to 230, 240,000 for a 675 LT. Then you're leaving into the 765 market, which is still at the late 200s, early 300s for Spiders. They haven't moved much. The new 750 came out, I thought, would decimate their values. Because McLaren are only making them to order, you can't buy them in stock. The values have been held out quite nicely. Now, a lot of this is down to two things. Like I said, McLaren have moved away from this idea of building every car they can. Okay, they're now building cars when they're sold. which means that the volume of cars come to the market is less. That helps all of us in terms of depreciation because there's no more suddenly going through. Now, I was trying to buy a 720 Spider and I thought, you know what, get on about 145, you know, need a bit of work that I can do myself. Because I thought the 750 would come out, they would get them out. They do a discount, 20% off these things to get rid of them. All of a sudden, 720 values go right down. Not happened. Okay, so good for you, McLaren. You've started to do it right. Stop building cars without buyers for them. But you're bugging me entirely because I can't afford a 720 Spider because they're still at 160, 170,000. Okay, which is good. I haven't got a 720 Spider, I'll have to wait. But the good news of everybody is that the values are stabilizing nicely because McLaren aren't chucking cars out like lunatics. Okay, so that's your range. 80,000 up to 100, up to 280 or 320,000. On terms of McLarens, okay? My strong advice, absolutely, I can't be any clearer and I've tried. If it's under £80,000, there's going to be a reason for it, okay? And it won't be a good reason, okay? Maybe the guy's getting a divorce, or maybe he or she's getting a divorce. Maybe they're in prison, okay? It may be a dirt cheap car because life has handed you a circumstance. But I can remember one of those in 11 years. And we've been selling cars for, from 2 years now, that's one. Okay, the rest of them, if it's under £80,000, I can guarantee I'll find you several £1,000s worth of work it needs to be done to get it. Okay, if it's been inspected, looked at, checked, everything else that's there, £80,000 is your starting point. Less than 80 is a reason. And then it becomes your choice of model. It's coupe or Spider, Sports Series or Super Series. Okay, mileage is less of an issue for these cars, but it does affect you in terms of values going further forward. So if you bought a 40,000 mile car and you want to put 10,000 miles on the clock, in 3 years you're at 70,000 miles. Now, at 60, 70,000 miles, the ceramic discs are at their lifespan. Now, the earliest we've changed a set of ceramic discs on any model, ex-track day work, has been 60,000 miles. Okay, so as a road car, not excessive track work, they should do 60, 70, 80,000 miles. But bear in mind, you're looking at nearly £10,000 an axle. If you're buying a £60,000 car and it's got 60,000 miles on the clock, a third of the value of the car might go away in brake discs. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind. So that's what hurts you at 50, 60,000 miles in these cars. Not the car not being good quality or the running costs with a big bill, which is why sometimes the GTs and the 570, 540Cs, after they're on steel discs, and the 12Cs and steel discs, your £1,000 axle will cost, not 10. You know, it's a big difference. Now, my hope is the prices of the ceramic discs will come down because it will start to affect the values of the higher mileage cars. But who knows, McLaren, they'll probably put the prices up knowing them. But it's something to consider. But again, at 60,000 miles is the starting point of changing those. I've not done one less than that, but it's something to bear in mind if you're looking at a 50,000 mile car. Now, if you do 3,000 miles a year, you've still got three years worth of work on it without an issue. But it's something to consider. All right, that pretty much sums it up. In terms of choices, 570, 12C, I'm very open-minded about it. Personally, I like the Super Series car because I'm more motivated by the technology, but I own a 570, so go figure. From a choice perspective, a lot of people buy the cars down to numbers. So if you've got 80, 90, 90, 100, 100 plus, pick the model accordingly that suits your budget, but absolutely get it inspected. Okay, a cheap McLaren is cheap for a reason. Bear that in mind. Okay, hope that's useful. See you again soon. Cheers.